Welcome to Black Enterprise Woman of Power Tech Summit. I'm your moderator, JoVonn, host and writer at Black Enterprise, and this session is the best places to work. Are you looking for a new professional home? Come find out which employers are actively building inclusive cultures and investing in keeping their Black talent happy and engaged. Joining us today are three successful women across the tech space. We have Lauren Fitzpatrick Shanks, the CEO of KeepWOL. We have Kathy Baynes, Head of Diversity Recruiting Strategy at Fidelity. And we have Sandra Jacobs, Director of Loyalty and Marketing Technology at American Airlines. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to be here.
Well, let's dig right into it. What are we seeing positively impact Black women in tech the most when it comes to company policies and practices? Kathy, I'll start with you.
Yeah. So I will say, from a financial services industry perspective, we are looking to continue in this fintech space, right? And it's traditionally been a male-dominated one. So from my perspective, from our perspective, we are seeing more women get into the fintech space, and we're shifting the ways in which we are operating as an organization. Some of the positive ways in which we're doing that is really supporting through our benefits programs and some of our other programs, again, in support of our women and other underrepresented talent. Some of those benefits range from student loan assistance programs, various training opportunities. From more of a personal perspective, we have 16 weeks of our paid maternity leave. We also offer paternity leave to our male counterparts as well. But most importantly, as we've been in this COVID-19 endemic and other health crises, really taking a look at how we can provide resources, health-related resources, well-being resources to our female women population as well, to help them be able to adjust and be able to cope with what we know as women, oftentimes the stressors, not only of being in our respective work environments, but at home as well. Another component of that is, as an organization, as we start to get back into the work, in-person work environment, just really looking at how we can provide flexible work environments for our women and women in tech environment or population. We want to make sure that we've heard the feedback over the past couple of years. More women are looking to have that flexible option, and we found ways to be able to incorporate that in more of a hybrid approach as many of our population, including others that are looking to come back into the workspace.
Thank you. Sandra or Lauren, was there anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I agree with all that was said. I think here at American Airlines, going with the pandemic, and we were able to, work from home for about a year and a half, maybe a little bit over that. And we learned that we could actually work from home and actually deliver in the technology world. And so coming back into the office, there was some concerns about coming back and whether we came back 5 days a week or not. And one of the folks that led the drive for us here at American Airlines was our CIO, Maya Lieberman, and she actually went and she championed for us to be able to be on what we call a hybrid working model, where we are working 40% of our time in the office and then the rest of the time from home. So, I mean, for her to champion that for us, I think it made life really less complicated for a lot of the women. And we have, folks with kids at home and having to go through the pandemic, and we still weren't quite out of the pandemic when we returned to the office. So it's just been a lot of really great movement, especially happening that was led by, a lot of our female leaders. And yeah.
Love to hear it. Now, Lauren, I want to take it over to you. You have 14 years of experience working with Fortune 500 companies. How did these experiences shape the development of your company, KeepWOL, and its mission?
Yes, so I have spent 14 years at 5 different Fortune 500s. And I think based on what Kathy and Sandra were saying, it all goes back to listening to what employees have to say and then proactively doing something about what those employees have to say. So my background is in aerospace engineering, which means I was often the only person who looked like me on the teams that I was on. And what would really make me feel most comfortable in the positions that I was in was when I had those connections to the people that I was working with. But what happens more than not is that people build those connections, but it's not with their direct team members. So we have those like employee resource groups and things like that, which help you find your crew and the people that you feel most comfortable around. But really what keeps an employee at their company is that functional team or those cross-functional teams that they work with day in and day out. And so those learnings and those understandings of my experience being in corporate, as well as those of colleagues I've worked with, is really what directed us into building KeepWOL. And just to let everyone know what KeepWOL is, it is a fun learning platform for teams in leading enterprise organizations. So we're focused on the places that I've come from, but it's really focused on enabling employee engagement and retention insights. But we do it through using games so that there is some entertainment to it. And when we talk about engagement, people want to actually do this rather than having your typical training sessions where you're being spoken at or spoken to, or having your yearly surveys that you get for updates that are happening in the company or how people are feeling in the company. And so with our solution, we've increased job satisfaction by up to 29% in as little as 12 weeks with a bunch of our Fortune 500 companies. And so that's kind of what's led me on my way to what we're building at KeepWOL.
Well, it's going well and keep it up.
Thank you.
Kathy, I want to bring it over to you. You were with Fidelity for over 20 years before you became the head of diversity recruiting strategy. What can you say in regards to how Fidelity invested in your professional development and how your role changed with the company over the years?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. I would say for me, it really has been the development opportunities that has really stood out for me at Fidelity as a Black woman within the organization. And most recently, over the past couple of years, so like you said, I've been at Fidelity for close to 23 years, most of that time in more of a client-facing role. When I left my prior organization within Fidelity, I was managing a group of communications consultants, very similar to what was said earlier, really working closely with clients, and wanted to shift. I wanted to shift into a different space. My goal was to really make an impact before I retire. Yes, before I retire from the organization. And, as part of that exercise and that journey, there were a number of different development programs that were being stood up that were focused on Black talent, Black and Latinx talent within the organization. Two of those were one, Aspire to Lead, which is based off of our employee resource groups, or our ERG. And that program was really focused on Black leaders such as myself, and it was more of a tandem type learning methodology. So I went through this experience along with my manager. And it was in the midst of 2020 with the George Floyd murder and all of the other social pandemics that were occurring. And we really had the opportunity to not only share our experiences in a professional realm, but in a personal realm. And that really sort of helped catapult me, I think, into this particular role. In 2020, that was the pilot program, of which, again, I was nominated and participated in. In 2021, we had over 250 associates that participated in the program. When I started, it was about 2025. And now there is a target goal of over 700 associates by 2023. Another program that was stood up in 2020 in particular that I participated in was called LIFT, or is called LIFT, Leveraging and Inspiring Fidelity's Talent. That is more focused on the mid to senior level. There's this concept of connection. So I was able to be sponsored by one of our executive leaders within Fidelity, and that's what led me to the talent acquisition space and this role that I'm in today. So she was able to help mentor me, coach me, be in spaces that I was not in, and actually announce and share my name and my qualifications and what I can bring to an organization such as TA. And that type of professional development has really catapulted me into this space right now, and really has been a staple of what Fidelity has done over the course of my career here for the past 20 plus years.
That's amazing. That's a great journey. Thank you for sharing that. And Sandra, you started at American Airlines over 11 years ago as a team lead, and now you are the director of loyalty and marketing technology. How did the company work to nurture your advancement over the years?
Yeah, I think for me, and it's interesting, I must say this with Kathy, I actually worked for Fidelity Investments for 13 years, and I was the director of project management when I was there at Fidelity Investments, and I left Fidelity in 2010. And I started here at American Airlines, as I said, as a team lead. But for me, it was having the advocacy, right? I had several senior leaders. They saw my talent and my leadership ability, if you will, and coming in, being a part of, just allowing me to take some of the leadership courses and be involved in several of the leadership programs that were here at American Airlines. I was involved in ITSMF. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's the IT Senior Management Forum, and they have a program where you go through a 12-month leadership program, and you're involved with several other Black leaders. And this is a Black program where you're involved with several other Black leaders from other corporations all over the country. And it's a very intense leadership program. Went through that in 12 months and graduated from that. American Airlines also has several ERG type groups that I've been involved in as well. And I think the most important part, and Kathy alluded to this, is having that someone that is an advocate for you and seeing what exactly it is you're capable of, and then taking that chance on you. And so, yeah, I went from a team lead to a manager to a senior manager, and now director of loyalty and marketing technology. So excited about that. I think, for us here at American Airlines, we are too. 2020 helped propel our diversity organization as well. The DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion organization. We've always had it, but with all the events that happened in 2020, it just propelled it even more. And with that, we were able to start focusing on our Black employees and the experience that they have in the workplace, as well as our women and the experience that we have in the workplace. And we started several discussions around what it is like to be Black in American Airlines. We started a lot of each one of the different organizations had their own conversations, if you will, with their Black employees. So and we've continued those discussions. Of course, the first year, it was tough. It was tough listening to the Black experience. But one of the things I must say is that there were those that really wanted to hear and really wanted to understand and really wanted to learn. And so with that, We made it past that first year. Now we're going on into our second year of having those type of discussions and a lot of mentoring. The first year we started out calling it mentoring, and now we're calling it a partnership. And this is where we have our Black leaders partner with some of our non-Black leaders. And we're talking directors and managing directors and VPs. And now it's a partnership. It's a learning across for both of the folks participating in that partnership. So American Airlines has done so much to shift our culture to that more diverse and more inclusive culture, if you will. And I'm excited when I think about where we come from and when I started here in 2010 to where we are today. I am just so excited to be a part of American Airlines and the culture and the people that we have here.
Thank you. And Lauren, as a tech founder whose services have been used by Amazon and Google, what are you seeing actively work when it comes to companies' overall success in boosting team morale and productivity?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I loved hearing from both ladies on what has really helped them in their careers while at Fidelity and American Airlines, because having those conversations and really having that connection and recognizing that it is a group effort, partnerships that are going to make these changes that we'd like to see is very important. And so with our platform of what we've been utilizing when we're working with your Amazons and your Googles and your Mayo Clinics is we use a play, reflect, and grow process in our platform. And so it's a combination of these live interactive psychology games. And they're games that emphasize that storytelling. So for those conversations that seem a little more heavier or seem like they could get a little more uncomfortable, we've gamified this, we've created a game out of this, but it's focused on really uncovering the uniqueness of each person to illuminate how each person on the team thinks. And we focused it and created a solution that could be used organization-wide. And so in a lot of instances, we do have our focuses lie on upper management, upper leadership, and we tend to forget about the frontline employees and the employees that are individual contributors and things like that. And so we really wanted to provide a solution that works all the way up vertical. And so through this, teams are really, really feeling valued in themselves. So with regardless of what level you're at, but also making people feel like where they come from, their culture is valued. And then we use a bit of, AI technology and end-to-end learning integration to provide educational content. So it doesn't just seem like it's on another person to teach you everything that you're hoping to learn and to help you fill those blind spots, those gaps, those biases. We help by providing you with right fit educational content at the right time where you're stating you want to learn something new, just to help you in not only reaching your own full potential, but helping others reach their full potential in what they want to accomplish with their career at whichever organization that they're in. And so with regards to like really building that engagement and that morale, with utilizing KeepWOL in just 3 short months, what we've been seeing at these organizations, like quarter over quarter, we've increased engagement, which is defined by the employees utilizing the tool, but we've increased engagement by up to 49%. We've also increased, we measure in 5 key pillar areas, but one of the ones that is most impactful to me as a Black woman is that cultural intelligence. And so we've been able to increase cultural intelligence within these organizations by up to 37% in just that 1 quarter. So really having those conversations that are not only recognizing, but accepting and welcoming those different perspectives of not only thoughts, but demographics and backgrounds that people are coming from. So we've seen a lot with these within these organizations, these big ones that, they're working through their DEI-B programs, but there's still lots of improvement to be had, but just making sure that it's a reoccurrence that's happening month over month, not just in a specific month that's dedicated to something has been very important. And that's when we've seen the major shifts.
Right. Not just in February and June. Got it.
Yes.
Now, Kathy, this is an important question, especially for our job seekers out there. What's a comfortable way a job seeker can ask an employer how they support diversity and inclusion?
I think just asking the question. So to the point that was just made by Lauren, a lot of our organizations are showing a commitment towards DEI, right? And that is inclusive of not only the retention of the associates, it is the hiring of associates. And so as you are looking to pursue an opportunity at an employer such as Fidelity Investments, I think those types of questions could be very direct. And what are some of the areas in which you are supporting DEI efforts? Whether it's, ERGs, employee resource groups, we've talked about that a lot. Professional development programs, I mentioned the Aspire and the LIFT programs. To Lauren's point, we also have programs that are not only focused on the mid to senior level associates, but we have those that are focused on the lower grades, because we recognize that there is a lot of opportunities there. And if we're looking at not only hiring folks, we want to make sure that we're retaining and allowing them the opportunity to grow within the organizations. So as you're having conversations with recruiters and you're having conversations with managers, it's that curiosity of what are you doing so that you can have, some idea of, is this an organization where I am going to be able to be a value add? We within our organization have shifted away from that culture fit concept. As you said, Lauren, there are many different ways in which someone can come into Fidelity, many different jobs and skills that you may bring into the organization. And we want to ensure that folks who are coming in see that whatever skill sets, whatever backgrounds they may have, that they are going to be able to provide a value add to whichever organization or function they want to desire to be a part of. And so I would just say, ask the questions and have that open dialogue. And for you, determine if this is the right, area for you and the right company for you.
That's amazing, amazing advice. And speaking of advice, for my last question that's open to all, I want to ask you to give one piece of advice to Black women entering the tech space who are looking to work for a company that they'll enjoy, that they'll feel wanted, that they'll feel valued. Sandra, I'll start with you.
Well, it goes back to what Kathy said. Ask the questions. Be willing to ask those tough questions. A lot of times we went in thinking that we had to accept what was told to us or given to us. And I said, no, we don't have to accept that. Let's ask the questions. We have choices. And so when you go in, ask about, what is the culture like? What do you talk about when you say, what do you mean when you say diversity, equity, and inclusion? I always like to use the example of, diversity means that, I'm actually invited to the dance. Equity means that, okay, you're going to ask me to dance, but inclusion means you're going to play some of my music as well, not only just having me there and dancing to your music, you're going to dance to my music. And so you need to ask those tough questions and make sure that they're willing to dance to some of your music as well. And I know that is how we operate here at American Airlines. We've gotten to where we are dancing to all types of music. We talk about the Black employee, but we're embracing all. And I think that's so important when you talk about diversity and inclusion. It's embracing all cultures, all ethnicities, everyone. And so, ask those questions.
Thank you, Sandra. Lauren?
Yes, I love what they both said is ask the questions. For me, I think about it how they're doing their due diligence on us. you have to submit a resume, you have to go through background checks, you have to do all of these things to get into these organizations. And so one thing that with KeepWOL, we have this scorecard that is able to be proof to something. So when asking the questions, if an organization is stating that that they're using or that they are implementing different strategies or they're utilizing different tools or things like that. One thing that we hope, quick plug here, is that people will ask, like, are you utilizing KeepWOL? Could you let us know what your scores are in the 5 pillars? Could you let us know what it looks like in my functional team that I'll be joining? Because we do have the data broken down at that level. So you know what you're getting into for the team that you're joining, the transparency there. So I do think about that a lot. Know your value. Know what you want out of a company. What is it that is going to make you be happy and where you're going to be? And then ask those questions to see if it's a good match, because finding a job is like dating, but we do know in many instances that sometimes we need to take a specific job to get our foot in the door, to put something on our resume to get to the next step, things like that. But I want to know that we are now in this, I want you all to know that we are now in this time, in this space where we can ask for what we know we deserve. And so making sure that you're doing that and really, really take note in what you want to see and how you would like to be treated, because the world is for you to conquer at this point. And so believe in yourself and what you bring to the table and do your due diligence on them just the way that they're doing their due diligence on you.
Come on, dropping gems. And Kathy, what's your one piece of advice?
Yeah, I echo everything that's already been said. And Sandra, I love what you said about the dance, because my signature actually says that. Diversity is being asked to the dance and inclusion is being asked to dance, right? I don't want to just be invited to the party. I want to feel like I'm a part of something big and I'm a part of something, part of a community. What I will add is this: set the right expectations. What I mean is let them know what you expect them to demonstrate their commitment. I think Fidelity does a fantastic job at this. In 2021, we proactively published our first D&I report. In 2022, so earlier this year, we published our second report, which really outlined our workforce representation metrics, programs, trainings, and processes we established to really ensure that we have a culture of inclusion and strengthening our culture of inclusion. This work, it really allows us to humbly address some of the areas of opportunity that we realize is there and really establish a baseline of to track our progress, understand where there's still opportunities for improvement and where we can add into this space. The report is just one way that we've thoughtfully demonstrated our commitment. So Fidelity Investments' commitment to transparency and accountability to not only ourselves as associates, but job seekers, our customers, the communities in which we serve. So if you want to know, if your employer supports DEI, just ask them to show you, as Fidelity has done over the past couple of years.
Well, thank you so much, ladies, for all that you shared today. This was such an impactful discussion.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Very good.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lula Dwale, the Director of Audience Development for Black Enterprise, and we hope you enjoyed the first day of Women of Power Tech. Remember to share what you've learned on social media using the hashtag WPTech. And if you missed any sessions, don't worry about it, because you can watch them all on demand for the next 30 days just by registering at blackenterprise.com. Tomorrow is all about female founders and our dedicated track for entrepreneurs. We'll be talking about how to launch and scale your startup, how to access the funding you need, and how to do it all while supporting other Black-owned tech businesses. We're kicking things off at noon Eastern Time with a fireside chat with tech entrepreneur Tanya Sam of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So don't be late. We'll see you then.